makes you think straight. The right part is the romantic, imaginary part. An interesting thing about your brain is when I use the right side of my body, it activates the left side of my brain. When I use the left side of my body, it activates the right side of my brain. I see a few people nodding, so you seem to be left brain kind of people. All right? Now, not everyone is a 50-50. I happen to be one of those people that when I take test after test, I'm always 50% left, 50% right. But some people are 80% right, 20% left, and they move back and forth. I know David here is a software guy, and he's probably like 99% left and 1% right, because he's not funny at all. So it's kind of like the yin and yang, that in the light there's a little dark, and in the dark there's a little light. So I'm going to share with you something about my daughter Katie and my son Luke. I love them dearly. They love each other so much, but they couldn't be further apart. My daughter Katie is 24 years old. She will do anything. She's jumped out of airplanes. She's done cliff diving. She forced me to go swimming with sharks with her. Okay, all kinds of stuff ahead. Fearless, beyond belief. Where my son, on the other side, is 17, and I asked him, do you want to go skydiving with your daughter, with your sister, because I'm not going with her. And he goes, no, Dad, it just doesn't make sense to go skydiving. It's like 3 minutes till you hit the ground, and the ratio of falling out of the sky to the effect that you get, it just doesn't seem, the return on investment doesn't and I go, okay, you don't have to go. All right, so I'm trying to talk over my head. All right, so they're definitely right brain and left brain. But you turn them around. All right, and what's crazy is my son is also an improvist. He's a stand-up comedian. He's a storyteller. I don't know where he gets that from. He loves drama. He's up on the stage all the time. He is tremendous. He's so funny. And my daughter, absolutely terrified of public speaking. There would be no way she would be up here. Whereas my son would be up here, no problem. So they each have a little bit of both. So know your audience. Give your message a little bit of both. Because I don't know if you're all left brain or all right brain. Some of the commercial appeal, and I'm just going to touch on a couple of these, is progressive insurance. When you think of that, to sell insurance, it's got to be very analytical. It's got to be logical. You've got to explain, this is the policy, this is what we're covering, compare our rates, etc. Because you've got to hit that logical part. But progressive also introduces us to flow. Okay, this woman who's a little crazy, a little baddie, and that hits on our right side of our brain. So they do a great job hitting both. The most classic advertising of all time goes all the way back to Lake Beer. When Miller Lite was first introduced, they pushed taste great, less filling. And it was beautiful. And I remember I fell in love with advertising when I read that the first time. Taste great, less filling. What they did was they took the buying decision away from you. You didn't choose Miller Lite versus Budweiser or anything like that. You choose, why do I want a Miller Lite? I've got 2 reasons to choose a Miller Lite. Tastes great, okay? That's my right side of my brain. Okay, yeah, I want a good tasting beer. Or less filling. That's the logical part of me saying, well, you know what, if I'm going to drink beer, I could use a few less calories, etc. So taste great, less calories, or taste great, less filling was the best way for them to advertise their product, and they become such a famous brand. So that's using your brain. But let's take it even a step further. This is my favorite part of the brain mechanism and the way the brain works, and that is Aristotle. Okay? Aristotle, big fans of Aristotle? Can I hear it for Aristotle? Big round of applause, right? All right. Aristotle, he had his stuff together. And this guy was alive in the 300 BC. Okay, so you're talking a long time ago, but he figured it out. He was a philosopher. He was a scientist. He did all kinds of stuff. Where I sit back there going, I don't see many of us having this type of a gig that we get to walk around in a robe all day just talking, and it seems to pay okay. All right? I mean, I like that because I look really good in a robe. Okay? But Aristotle wrote this up: ethos, pathos, and logos. And over time, this has become a salesperson's greatest asset, because ethos is ethics. It's talking about credibility. You establish your credibility. Make sure that you quote somebody, or you said, somebody told me this type of thing. You establish credibility. And the cool thing about credibility is all I have to say is, well, Jerry Evans once told me. Even if you don't know who Jerry Evans is, the fact that someone else told me develops instant credibility. If I said, so this is what I think you should do, you haven't trusted me yet. But if someone else told me, or let alone someone famous told me, you have instant credibility. The next part is pathos. And pathos talks about the emotional connection you have. The emotional movement. Something that I'm touching on your heartstrings. Something that makes you go, oh my God, I really want this. Okay? And then lastly is logos. And logos is the logical part. To kind of point this out, I'm going to give you a little demonstration. So I stand in front of you. And I go, thank you all for coming. We all have heard of people like Steve Jobs, Tony Robbins, Jay Shetty, one of my favorite speakers. If you talk to them, they all will say the exact same thing. They will say to you that story, adding stories to your presentations and adding a lot more passion, speaking from the heart will always get the message across better than anything else. These are professionals who do this for a living and have done this for a long time, and they will always say it. And this is not my idea, this is their idea. I'm stealing as much as I can from them. Now, when you think about this, why are we all here? We joined Toastmasters to get better at public speaking, right? Right? Yes. And what does it hurt to try this? Don't you want to have fun when you're up here? Right? And don't you want to share your stories? Don't you want to dig in deep and just enjoy this and really love this? And just say, yeah, I want to walk up there. Because you want to tell the best story you can so that when you look in the crowd, people are smiling and laughing with you. You want to make a great emotional connection with them. This is what's beautiful about it. So, let me ask you something. If it's proven by people who speak professionally that adding these stories and adding passion to the way you speak really works, and this is something we really, really want to do. We want to be excited. We want to get out there in front of people. Since that happens, why wouldn't we try it? Okay, so I want to, by a show of hands, again, like I asked earlier, who here is willing to add a lot more passion into their next speech? Raise your hand. Fantastic. Excellent. Now, if you notice what I did here, was I did those 3 steps. I gave you some credibility. I quoted some of the biggest names, and I said it was their idea. Next, I walked over to the right side of the stage. And this is cool. Remember what I said? As I walked to my stage right, it forced all of you to look to your left. Looking to your left, engage the right side of your brain, the romantic side, the imagination side. So what I did is I talked emotional about speaking. I engaged that part. And then the last part I did is I casually walked over here to the left side. Slow enough so every one of you had to turn your head in this direction. When you're turning your head in this direction, you're looking to the right, engaging the left side of your brain, where I gave you a logical argument for doing this. And then I asked you all to commit. So by using this, using the stage correctly, you can attack somebody with credibility, emotion, and logic. So that's a little secret. Don't share it with anybody else. They didn't come here. You will win more contests. People will say, I cannot believe she convinced me of that so easily. When you go home with your spouses, I tell you, I have a beautiful wife. I use that same thing to get her to marry me. Next one. This is my favorite. This is why we're here. This is the emotions. Adding the emotions to your speeches. There are 4 major emotions: anger, happiness, sadness, and fear. If you don't think that these are powerful and can make things happen, let me explain something. Anger. Women's suffrage, and I'm going way back because I don't want any political problems, so I'm not doing anything current. Women's suffrage was one. Women got the right to vote because they stood up and they were angry. And they said, we deserve this. And they fought and they got it. So they used anger, the passion of anger, to win. Fear. Fear is very big in my industry, the security industry. We would not survive if there wasn't fear. And I can tell you, there is so much redundant security and useless security bought and sold. But it's all based on fear. Sadness. If we didn't have sadness, or if sadness wasn't such a strong emotion, we would have never experienced the birth of the blues. Okay, an entire music industry, born in the United States, all based on sadness. It's fantastic music, and whenever you listen to the blues, you could just hear the heartache, and it's gorgeous music, but it's all based on sadness. And lastly, my favorite is happiness. And I put up here, happiness is the drug industry. Drug industry capitalizes on happiness all the time because everyone wants to be a little thinner because I'll be happier if I'm thinner. I need some medication to make myself happy. I need plastic surgery so I'll be more handsome. Can you believe I can be more handsome? All right. So what happens is we lean on the drug industry and the medical industry to make ourselves happy. But we don't have to do that. We can make ourselves happy. So, given this, and we all understand this, and we all believe this, right? Yes. So why aren't we doing it? I'm not teaching you anything really new. I'll tell you why we don't do this. When I was a little boy, I was adorable. I was very cute, little kid, pudgy. You just always wanted to pinch my cheeks. Okay? When I was a little kid, and I had my daughter, a little right brain, a little left brain. And I remember being in gym class, and the teacher said, today we're going to be doing somersaults. And I said, okay. And I remember walking up, what is exactly a somersault? What does this take? And he goes, this can be easy. You get down on your hands and knees, put your chin in your chest, put your head down, balance yourself on your hands and head, and then slowly kick your legs over. And I was, no way. I'm not doing that. And he said, well, no, Mark, come on, it's really easy. And I was like, no, I'm not doing it because you're going to break my neck. There is no way I can do this. And he's pointing to the other kids who were all flipping and laughing and having fun, right? But I said, they're all skinny, okay? I'm not doing this. I go, this is a lot of weight to put on this little neck. No, I can't do this. I won't do it. And he kept pushing me. And I remember the teacher getting so frustrated. Marty, just trust me. It's so easy. And I couldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. What I kept doing was I stopped myself from having fun. I was too afraid. And that's what we all are doing. We're stopping ourselves from taking the next step. And he pushed me. And I remember him getting me to the point where he'd lift my legs and I suddenly fall to the side. Just go, I'm not doing this. And I kept forcing myself. And I finally took time by myself when I was home where I forced myself to actually do it. Okay? Now, I'm going to talk just to the guys for a second. So girls, just talk amongst yourself. Okay? You guys know what it's like when you were young and you go to a school dance, right? And you're standing there and your friends are all with you. You're looking across the hall, and there's Mary Ellen. All right, she's looking really nice because she's got a nice dress on and stuff like that. And you're like, oh, this is really cool. I want to go dance with her. I never talked to her during school, but I think she likes me. And I'm like, yeah, of course she likes you. She likes you, man. Go dance with her. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna dance. And I'm saying, good thing I'm wearing a suit coat because I'm so sweaty underneath this. And I'm gonna do this. And I'm getting ready. I'm like, I don't think I can do this. Yeah. And all your friends are encouraging you, and you don't know if they're really encouraging you or just laughing at you. Okay? Pushing at you. You can do this. You can do this. So you're like, all right, I'm going to do this. I'm getting this off. I'm going to ask her to dance. She's going to dance, and everything's going to be wonderful. And you walk right up to Mary Ellen. You don't want to dance with me, right?